Well, hello once again to everybody, and I'd like to welcome you. My name is Charles Richard, and let me put that up there for you guys to see. All right, and yes, I am actually doing a very quick and brief video recording for you guys, sort of explaining the thought process as to why I have chosen to leave Fujifilm. So many of you have asked me because I've been a Fujifilm enthusiast for a very long time, and I am not taking anything away from Fujifilm. I still think that Fujifilm is still a very good company, but in my personal opinion, ever since they switched from actually manufacturing their products in Japan to China, you can see a very big difference in the quality of the product itself. And for me, that is very important because one of the things that motivates a person, right, to pick up a camera is not only that it is a good camera, but it is also that it actually feels really good in your hands. And the very latest uh, innovations that they have come up with, the latest models that they have come up with, that is the H2S, the H2, the T5, the S10, the S20. All those cameras are very plasticky, but on the higher end, I know the S10 and the S20 are lower end cameras, but on the higher end, if I am paying so much money, I don't mind paying $500 more or $1,000 more for something that feels very solid. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm sure that Fujifilm made those decisions. It was a business decision that they made. I am sure that is the reason that they made it. It made more sense for them. But for me, it just loses that. Uh, that feel, all right, of a very awesome feeling camera in your hands. Now, I'm not saying that Fujifilm uh, does not have the power to be a good camera internally. It just doesn't feel good anymore, all right, in my hands. And for me, I need to be inspired, and my whole experience when I pick up a camera is not only from what is inside the camera, but also how the camera feels in my hands when I touch it, when I move the dials, and it feels that precision and that sort of stuff. It feels now, it feels very plasticky, and I'm not for that. Okay, I am not. I don't like that feeling. So Leica, on the other hand, okay, Leica over here, like the SL3, Leica still retains that very, feeling that it is very well built, that it is built solid, and especially the new Leica SL3. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple of things and the way that I did my whole transition, because these Leica cameras are very expensive. But as you know, there are companies out there that do buy your gear. So let me start very slowly explaining to you why I chose the Leica. All right. Number one, I chose the Leica because it's made in Germany. All right. Now, even though Leica products are not everything is made in Germany, some of the stuff, their inferior stuff, is made in Japan. Like some of the lenses, all their cameras are made in Germany, with the exception of the deluxe, right? That has already been discontinued, but there is rumors that there's going to be a new release of the deluxe, and I don't know if that's going to be made in Japan or if it's going to be made in Germany, and when it's going to come out and what exactly it's going to be. Now, With that said, with that said, the Leica brand, the bodies themselves are very, very well made. Okay, they're very solid when you feel it in your hands, when you move any of the buttons, you feel that it is like holding a Swiss watch in your hands. You can see that precision of movement in the quality and craftsmanship of the camera. Number one, I chose the SL2. I'm sorry, the SL3 because of the new innovations that it brings. Now, many individuals, all right, many individuals, and I've talked to Leica, I talked to Sigma, and I talked to Panasonic. Many individuals have a misconception and an error, all right, when they say that things like, oh, well, the low end Leica lenses are made by Sigma. 100% negative. It is a no, all right, and that was confirmed by Leica and by Sigma. Leica designs their own lenses. All right, they design their own lenses. The L mount alliance, all right, is only dealing with the mount itself, and they have collaboration as far as sharing information between all three companies as far as, oh, I did it this way to make the autofocus better. This is how I made the autofocus better. I did this lens like this way. But, but here's the big but the whole lens, of Leica is designed in Germany, all right, and then it is taken to their manufacturing company in Japan for the low end lenses, and those are the low end lenses, and you can see them because the quality is still there. They're very much metallic, but you can see how lighter they are because um, of the inferiority of the materials that are used to be able to produce those lenses. But everything from the design to the manufacturing of it is Leica. All right, it is not Sigma, and the same thing goes. I cannot talk about whether Sigma and Panasonic, have these um, um, collaborations where they share lenses. I don't know because I did not research it. The only thing that I researched by talking to Leica and Sigma, because the only thing that I care about is that the Leica is Leica, all right? Because I do not like Sigma lenses. I don't care how what anybody says. I do not like the quality of Sigma lenses. All right, I do not use Sigma lenses. All right, and they assured me that that's how it is done, and that came from Leica and from Sigma. All right, with that said, and the autofocus also is different. All right. I've seen individuals say that the autofocus is the same as the Panasonic, and no, it is not. Okay. Why is it not? And they explain it to me. All right. Listen to me. Listen. All right. They explain it very clearly. You cannot design an autofocus, all right, where the sensor is different. All right, the sensor has to do a lot with how your autofocus is sees the sensor, how many points it actually sees, and how it actually works. All right, as a computational figures to how it brings your autofocus. The autofocus on the Leica SL3 is a first in the industry. It has AI embedded. That's computerized AI, not the AI from 1980. All right, it is computerized AI. How does it bring that computerized AI? Well, all right, it begins to learn. Okay, it begins a learning curve to be able to recognize airplanes, birds, and that sort of thing. So it's a AI that gets better, all right, as you use it for your autofocus and other things, because when you connect your camera to your computer, you know what I'm saying, it sort of refreshes, updates, however it is that they do it. I can't get into the details exactly of how it works, but I do know this because I did try the Leica SL3. All right, the Leica SL3, when I look at the autofocus, and I've seen the Panasonic S52, the Panasonic S52s, I've had it in my hands, I've used it. I've seen, all the other cameras, the Sony's and all that stuff. It's completely different. All right, it's completely different. As a matter of fact, it's completely different from the Leica SL. All right, and the Leica SLS, or yeah, SLS, I think that's what it is. All right, but it is completely different. The SL2, I mean to say, the SL2 and the SL2S. All right, um, it is different from the Q2. All right. It is different from the Q3. Although the sensors are the same, all right, the sensors of the Q3 and the SL3 are the same, the autofocus is different because the autofocus on the SL3 has AI, the autofocus on the Q3 does not. Maybe it will be updated in a firmware update, and most probably it will. All right. But right now, when you buy it, it doesn't come with autofocus with AI. It did not come originally with autofocus with AI. Maybe the new releases are coming with that. I don't know. So, anyways, that's a little explanation as to what's going on with the Leicas. Now, on the other hand, Leica is extremely expensive, and it doesn't matter how rich you are, or or if I'm a doctor, or if I'm a lawyer, or if I'm a content creator. It's a substantial amount of money to be able to dish out. Some of these Leica cameras cost about as much as buying a brand new car, and they are expensive. I understand that, but the way that I did my transition, all right, and so that you guys can see, yes, this particular Leica body is $7,000, but I've had so much Fuji gear. I have the GFX 100. I have the GFX 102. I have the H2 S, the H2, the XT5. I have XT4s. I have two XT4s, and a whole bunch of lenses, a whole bunch of GFX lenses. You know, all of that, you know, has a value. Some individuals like to buy cameras, right? And they sit on the cameras, and the cameras lose their value. They're still good cameras, there's nothing wrong with them. But what I've done is I have actually gone to MPB, all right, which is one of the sites that actually purchase used gear, just like KEH, excuse me, and B&H, right? And Adorama does that, and there's many other companies that do that, right? But I did it with MPB, and the reason that I did it with MPB is because I bought two Leicas. All right, I bought the SL3. All right, I put an order for SL3. I still have not received my actual SL3 because um, it's in limited quantities. Okay, they're just beginning to ship them out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still waiting for my SL3. All right, so it's already paid for. I did the pre-order. I paid for it. I just simply waiting for it to arrive. But I have, and I'll tell you a little bit as to also why I had to have a backup plan and I needed a second camera. So I bought a second camera, and as the second camera that I bought, for a backup was a Q3. Now, the Q3 goes for $6,000. But the problem with the Q3 is just like the Fujifilm, the X100 V and the X106, it's almost impossible to get. All right. So I lucked out. I went to the MPB site, and although the camera is at $6,000, MPB wanted $7,000 for a brand new camera that they had. Somebody bought it and they didn't like it for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? So I jumped on that deal, all right. But the way that I came up with that amount of money was by doing trade-ins, all right. So I took my Fujifilm, my GFX 100, not the 102, the 100, and I traded several lenses, right? And so instead of paying $7,000 for the camera, I'm actually getting some money back because what I sold to them, and I sold some other cameras to them also, what I sold in the group, was actually greater than what they were asking for that particular camera. So I lucked out on that. So I'm very happy because I am narrowing down my gear. So I do have a Q3 coming to me. The way that it works when you deal with a place like MPB, right, is you put in on the website, you say, okay, these are the cameras that I have. You put the condition that it's in, right? And they give you a quote, right? And then you put what it is that you're going to buy, all right? They take it off the stock, and now you have to take your gear, you box it, and you ship it to them, which I already did. I just did that this morning. All right, so you ship it to them. They receive it. Okay, once they receive it, they look at everything. They make sure that everything is working, and if everything is working, then they reevaluate your numbers as far as how much they're going to pay for it. If it is how you actually say that it was, then they will pay you for that. If they feel it's not as good as they say, then they'll tell you, well, if we offered you $2,000, on the website, we can't offer you that because it has a little nick here, a little nick there. Okay, we're going to offer you $1,800, and then you make a decision whether you want to sell it or not. But anyways, I sent enough gear over there, all right, to be able to cover for the Q3 plus, all right, some other lenses that I will be using with the SL3. So here's how it works, all right. The SL3 I still don't have, all right. I'm still waiting for the body. I've been using a loaner from the Leica store, all right, here in Miami, and I love it. I really love it. I've tried all the different lenses. One of the lenses that really amazed me was a lens that in the front, and I know that our Randall mentioned it. Okay, the front of those lenses, because it's so wide, it looks like it was a fisheye, but it's not. All right, it's just that it has that little bubbly lens in the front, so you can't add a filter on the front of the lens. But the Leica very smartly designed it so that between the body and the lens, it has a place where you can actually drop in a filter. So if you want an ND filter, you can drop it in there. If you want a Pro Mist filter, you can drop it in there, and it locks into place, and then you put the lens on. You know, I know it's a different format, but I did try that lens, and that lens really impressed me. It's a 2.8, 11 to 23, I think it is, and it's very wide and it's very beautiful. I'll show you some pictures. So let's take a look at some of these pictures as I show you this. All right, so let's take a look at over here, right here. All right, and let me see, is it this picture? Let me see, which one would it be? Would it be here? Nope. It's going to be right here. All right. So let me bring some of these pictures so that you can see. All right. Where is it? Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, this picture that you see right here, right now, okay, at this one is the Leica DSL3. I did get this flash. I do have some other flashes, the Godox flashes, but Leica has a very proprietary system where only Leica flashes work with the TTL. So my Godox flashes that I have for my Fuji will work, but what I do have to use is I have to use a Leica trigger, all right, so if I want to use TTL. Mounting those Fujifilm flashes on top of the Leica camera will only work in manual mode, and I do not want that. So what I did was I bought, they have a variety of flashes. They have the 40 and they have the 60. And this one that you see here is the 40, which is very small because I wanted it to be small for the simple reason that when you put it on the Q3, here, let me show you the Q3. This is the SL3 that you're looking at right now, and you're looking at the lens, the wide angle lens, the 11 to 23. It's a beautiful lens. It's an awesome lens. All right, so I did buy that lens. All right, so here's the Q3. Let me show you. All right, here's the Q3. All right, that's the Q3 that I bought. All right, now that Q3, notice that that is the same flash as that you saw on the SL3. That's the 40. All right, and it's just the perfect size for the Q3, which I love the size. I did get the grip. Okay, the grip. They have two types of grips. All right, they have one grip on the Q3. Is the first time that they do this. On the Q3, you can get this grip that you can actually use on a wireless charging pad, and when you put it on top of the pad, it charges your battery. All right, so I got that grip. It's only like $195, I think it was, and I got the what we call the finger grip. That's what you see on the side. That was like I think maybe like $100 or something like that. I got the flash and I got the Leica S. That's the Q3. All right, and let me see if I can show you some more pictures of the Q3. Um, Here we go. This is another one for the Q3. All right. That's the Q3. Okay. That one there is at the Leica store. All right. I tested it and I tried it. All right. My Q3 I still do not have because remember, I just sent my cameras to MPB, and MPB is has to look at the cameras. All right. And then they'll call me and they'll ask me, what the final offer is, you know what I'm saying, and then we go ahead and we finish the deal. But 100%, that's another picture of the Q3. But 100%, I am definitely going to get the Q3 as my backup. The Q3 is the first all-in-one camera. This is a non-removable lens, but that lens that it has is actually a $7,000 lens. Leica does sell that lens separately, and it's a $7,000 lens. All right, it's actually their best lens as per quote unquote what everybody says, right? So that you see there is the first time that the Q3 has a tiltable back screen. So this will be my backup camera. It records, okay? It records video in 8K, all right, which is awesome. Okay, it can record video in HK cinema mode, all right, just like the SL3. So it is a perfect match. It is a perfect match. And the other thing that I like about these 60 megapixel cameras, because a lot of people are saying, well, why do you need 60 megapixels? Well, here's why. When you take a picture, right, with a 60 megapixel sensor, right, these cameras, the SL3, just like the Q3, allow you to do three different crops inside the camera, which means that this 60 megapixel that has a 28 millimeter lens can also do a crop that I believe brings the lens to like 50 millimeters or something like that, and another crop that brings the lens to 70 some millimeters. So it's like having three lenses. Yes, the resolution changes, okay, when you do that cropping in the camera, but when you crop from a 28 millimeter to a 50 millimeter, instead of having a 60 megapixel uh, photo, you end up with like a 42 megapixel photo, which is plenty. All right. And then if you go one more step to a 70 millimeter, you end up maybe like with a 20 megapixel photo. And these are just numbers that I'm throwing out there. They're not exact numbers, okay, because I don't know the exact numbers. I have to research it, but that's you can find it everywhere on YouTube. But it's like having three other lenses, okay, without you actually having to carry these three other lenses, which means the SL3, okay, that you see up here. Let me put this one away here. This SL3, oops, sorry about that, guys. Okay, this SL3 that you see right there. Um, Let me put this here. This SL3 that you see right there, excuse me, that SL3 with that lens, okay, it was that particular lens right there is the 24 to 70, okay? But let's say if I'm using that lens at 24 to 70 and I have it at 70 millimeters, all right, if I crop it, it's gonna give me like 130 millimeters, something like that. And if I crop it again, it's gonna give me like a 200, equivalent of a 200 millimeter lens, all right? And so that's why, having a 60 megapixel sensor gives you so much power, okay? So much, awesomeness that when you look at it, you're like, wow, I can't believe that, okay? I can't believe that. And it makes it really a pleasure to work with because now when you're looking at sensors that have a lot more megapixels, you can actually have actually the more flexibility for cropping in. And this is excellent. This is excellent. Listen to me, guys. This is excellent if you're doing like wildlife photography, because sometimes when you do wildlife photography, and I'm not a wildlife person, but it makes sense. Sometimes you have, like, say, like a 400 millimeter lens, and your subject, right, is still, is there, right, but you want to be able to, recompose your photo and get a maybe a little bit tighter shot, all right, with these 60 millimeter, you know uh sensors, okay, you can crop a little bit, all right, and you don't lose that resolution, and you can end up with just a 400 millimeter lens, end up having something of an equivalent of maybe a 600 or an 800 millimeter lens without having to carry a much bulkier lens and having to invest more money, because the bigger the lens, the more expensive your lenses are, right? Okay, and so that's one way to look at it. Now, for me, all right, that change that I'm doing from Fuji is heartbreaking because I really love Fujifilm simulations. But the one thing that the new Leicas have, the SL3s, is they have, number one, the SL3 has a brand new menu system. This new menu system allows you to pretty much control everything. All right, control your hues, your saturations, your curves, your clarities. You know what I'm saying, your midtones. This has it. Okay, and so when you have that power, to be able to do that with the colors, what I'm saying, and to be able to address it, it's very powerful. Now, the one thing that I am going to be missing is, yes, I'm going to be missing a lot of the film simulations, because some of those film simulations actually emulate older films, films that used to be Fuji films, like it could be a Kodak, or it could be a Fuji, an Ektachrome, one of those very popular black and white, colors, what I'm saying, Africa, all these different, different colors, that Fuji has through the so many years put out there. But I want to miss that, all right? But I can always bring it in post production if I want to. But the thing about it is, these cameras, the Leica cameras, pretty much the colors that they bring right out of the camera is exactly what you see. And that's very hard to say, because in Sony cameras, for example, your skin tones look very a little bit towards the magenta side. Canon has issues, a little some issues. Nikon is the only one that is really good to retain colors exactly how you truly see it. But with that said, with that said, I am very happy because mostly the stuff that I do is I want to make sure that I have a camera that not only is good for photography, but that is also really good for video work, for cine work, right? And being able to have, excuse me, a camera like this and being able to know that I have six customizable settings for photo and six additional, completely different customizable settings on the video side, actually um, makes me very pleased, all right, uh, to make and to want to make this changeover. I know it's going to be an expensive one, but I think with all the gear that I have with Fujifilm, my my investment after I sell all that gear, uh, it's going to be maybe 4,000, $5,000, right? But it's not going to be so much because I'm doing a lot of trading, and so that's how I was able to make that jump from everything that I've had from Fujifilm, all right, to something that is a my new gear, which is going to be Leica. So, anyways, I hope that if you have any questions on any of this, of course, uh, post it on the comments, and I'll be more than happy to address them. The other thing also the other thing also that I that made me make a change in gear is the fact that I'm trying to okay this year to go to Thailand, right? I'm gonna be going. That's my plan, right? To go to Thailand once all my gear is here. And do some photo shoots in Thailand, and then I was gonna be going to Bali. All right. Then next year I have a couple of the trips for the following year, but now that I know that I have some nice gear because a lot of the scenes in Thailand are wonderful, and I want to be able to make sure that I have the proper gear and I have a backup camera to be able to capture these wonderful memories because that's what they are. They're just memories, but I want to be able to capture them well, enjoy my time out there, the experience of having a wonderful camera to be able to capture this and an experience to be able to be there in Thailand. It's also a definitely going to be a wonderful experience. So, anyways, um, I think I've done enough blabbing. So if you have any questions, by all means, again, put them in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please hit and subscribe, underneath, and if anything, I'll see you on the next video, which will hopefully be soon because, as you know, I don't post videos every single week or every 2 weeks. I post videos once in a while. But with that said, thank you so much.